Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video, and this is the 6th video in the Hasbro 6-inch Ghostbusters Plasma series. This is GOZER the Gozerian, which is the dumbest name ever. Gozer by itself, okay, but GOZER the Gozerian, I don't know who wrote that, whether it was Dan Aykroyd or Harold Ramis or whoever the writers were for the movie. It's interesting. This figure is interesting looking also. It's got some cool effect pieces, which I think are with the hands. It actually has an ab crunch. It's just kind of a weird design, especially for Gozer that was in the movie for a very short amount of time before, you know, turning into Stay Puft. So it's interesting all around, but let's take a look. It might be a decent figure. So similar packaging as all the others, nothing over there. Same artwork on the side of the package there. Back, we see all the figures in the wave to build the Build-A-Figure, the Vinz Clortho Terror Dog. That is the Keymaster, the one that Rick Moranis' character Lewis turns into. The bio for Gozer reads, the Destructor and Traveler. Gozer is the ancient evil with a lot of aliases, and Gozer the Gozerian is one of them. Anyway, let's get it opened up. Okay, and here is the Gozer figure out of the package, and I'm going to tell you straight up, it's not a good figure. I'm having just the most difficulty with this line. I wanted to really like it, but I'm just not that much. Although, and I will admit, all the Ghostbusters together look really good together. Throw in Dana Barrett, not so much. Gozer, Anyway, the Terror Dog Build-A-Figure, the head sculpt looks okay. It doesn't really have like a head look. It looks like more of a wild pig or boar. But it's interesting. It's got an articulated jaw, so I guess that's kind of cool. Kind of rubbery at the ends here as it goes around the body. You know, it's going to pour it in. We'll do that in its own video like so, but the details of it looks pretty good, I guess. No complaints with that so far. As far as Gozer, she comes with accessories, so her hands are interchangeable. So her regular hands, they are actually hinged. They're sculpted nicely, as you can see, and then she has like these effect piece hands, which just poured in. You just unplug it like so, and it looks like that. It's just kind of this purple translucent plastic. The hand is painted to match the color of her body, but it's not painted real well. Definitely could have used an additional coat of paint to cover up some of the purple, because that purple really bleeds through, although you can kind of argue that it's the effect, because the powers, the lightning effect is coming out of her hand, so it could work out. It's one of those things. It's still pretty cool nonetheless, but you know, I guess nothing special also in that, but at least we get some kind of accessories, and they look pretty cool with that yellow background actually going there, so not bad. Let's take a closer look at Gozer and see if there's any good to the figure. I don't think there is. Okay, there's an up-close look at Gozer, and it's okay. It's just such a small figure on top of that. The body seems really small. Head looks okay. I mean, I get that's how she looked in the movie. It's just kind of weird. The whole figure's got this pearlescent white-ish color that comes off a little pink to it. We get a little bit of that satin shine actually on her head face, over the head sculpt, whereas like the neck almost looks like a different skin tone, whereas you have a very pale color on her face, whereas the neck looks more of a realistic skin tone. Red eyes, similar to Dana Barrett, as you can see there, but on Gozer it's a much deeper red. The lipstick came out looking really good. Eyebrows are on there. Her face looks dirty, and I think that's how it was in the movie too. So there's good in that, I guess. Looking at the sculpt of it, basically this is how it was. She wore this bodysuit that just kind of had this weird white webbing look to it, and there's like these bubble things throughout. So the sculpt is there. There's lots of crazy sculpt to it. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem all that special of a figure. It's cool that, you know, when you get a variety of characters and things like that from a movie, especially if you're a huge Ghostbusters fan, to get, you know, another Gozer figure, and I'm sure this isn't the only one, but it's just a weird figure. You know, we get the added ab crunch in here, so the articulation on this is very similar to like a Power Rangers figure. So you got a diaphragm joint and an ab crunch, no waist. It's just, why would they do that on this figure and not the other ones? It just seems very odd to me, but we'll zoom out and we'll take a look at her articulation. Okay, so Gozer's articulation. So her head is on the neck hinge, so she can look all the way down and she can look all the way up. She is the only figure in this line, this wave, that can actually do that. You get full rotation, of course. You get some head pivot going on in there as well. Shoulder goes up very high and you get a full rotation. It is a single jointed elbow, like most female figures that Hasbro gives us. So swivel at the elbow as well, and then that gives you about a 90-degree bend at the elbow. Both wrists swivel and they hinge. The effect hand, there is no hinge, so you're just going to port it in, and that's it. So no hinge on those ones. We have a diaphragm joint and an ab crunch. So diaphragm joint, she can't pivot to the side that much, pivot to the other side that much. She can go forward only a tiny bit, but it really breaks up the sculpt in the back. It looks really bad. She can go back that much. It doesn't look so bad in the sculpt there, so that is decent. Then you have an ab crunch. She can crunch down that much just on the ab, but you can see how it really breaks up that sculpt, and that looks really, really bad. Going back on just the ab crunch, she can go back that far, which is crazy far, but again, look how ugly that joint looks when you move it around. So crunching forward with the ab and the diaphragm joint, she can go crunch forward that much, but just that back looks really bad. But if you're looking forward, you know, it's not going to be so bad, so I don't want to give it too much crap. And then the diaphragm joint, of course, is where you can get the twist in to have her look into the sides. Legs go out that far apart. She can't kick forward that much. She can go back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee, which is a very soft knee. The whole figure is a lot softer of a plastic, and then you can easily bend at knee, whereas the other ones, you know, seemed really stiff. Foot hinges down that far. You want to be careful because these gummy hinges, you can get the foot to go up an unnatural amount. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet and ankle pivot. So good articulation, but weird sculpt design for that diaphragm joint and the ab crunch. You know, why none of the other figures got an ab crunch is beyond me, but it is what it is on what Hasbro gave us. So here's Gozer. Now let's see how she compares to some other figures. Okay, so here she is next to Dana Barrett in Star Wars Black Series Rey figure, and she's actually taller than Rey, shorter than Dana Barrett, and then she has a hard time standing because those wedge feet are small and she's kind of gummy, so careful with that. Show you guys next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee figure, if I can get him to stand easily. And there he is, and she is way, way, way shorter. Now let's see how she looks against the Ghostbusters. Okay, and there she is. She is shorter than all of them, just a much smaller figure all around compared to the Ghostbusters. So is it film accurate? Yeah, for the most part. I think the only thing it's really lacking is whatever the mole thing or whatever was on the right side of her face near her eye. That's not really on the figure, although there's a little speck and maybe that's supposed to be it. It's harder to do those little details when on a smaller figure. But it's just one of those things. The pearlescent white it isn't completely accurate to the movie. You know, it kind of looked like a cheap costume rewatching the movie. So I think Hasbro did what they could to make something of it. You know, and maybe that's how it should have looked. You know, in today's world, it probably would have been a CGI suit kind of thing. So it's, I don't know, it's just an okay figure. You know, it's, you know, definitely necessary because you need it for the Terror Dog. And, you know, watching that, you know, that final scene a little bit more, it definitely was a lot thinner in the head for these Terror Dogs. So we'll see how it looks together. But there's Gozer. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of this figure, of this line. I'm curious. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.